Good morning to you all. Today topic is questionnaire. A questionnaire is a list of questions or items used to gather data from respondents about their attitudes, experience or opinions. Questionnaire can be used to collect quantitative and or qualitative informations. Questionnaires are commonly used in market research as well as the social and health sciences. So, in generally, questionnaire is gathering informations from the respondents. Then, what are the characteristics of questionnaire? Questionnaire has a sequence of questions because the questionnaire have a sequence in the order or a systematic questions will have in the questionnaire format, then only the respondents are giving the responses in the orderly. Then limited number of questions, the questionnaire will be framed in the limited number of questions, that is making easier for giving the responses to the respondents. Then symbol language, symbol language we can use to for the questionnaire method. We can't use any tough and technical term in the questionnaire method because the absence of the investigator, the responses respondent will be given the responses through the questionnaire method, so we can use to for symbol languages. And jargon technical term, the easier technical term only we can use in the questionnaire method. Then uniformity, all the questionnaire will be framed in the equal manner, so distributed the same questionnaire to the respondent, so that will uniformity will be maintained in their questionnaire. Then avoid ask personal questions. So in the investigator framing the questionnaire, that questionnaire avoid ask personal questions to the respondents. That is giving for the difficult to the responses to the respondent. So avoid ask personal questions. Then short, the short term short or in the short format only give framing the questionnaire method, that is very easy to giving the respondent. Same time the questionnaire format taking the easier way, and the minimum number of questions are available in the questionnaire. Then we are framing the objective type questions in the form of a closed end, like a yes or no questions type, that is making in the questionnaire method. These are the characteristics having in the questionnaire method. Then next, moving on, questionnaire design process. The questionnaire design involves various processes that are giving below. One is determine survey objective, resources and constraints. So as a research investigator, first we are determine what survey will be taken in the study area and what are the objectives framed. Then resources mobilizes the different sources we are mobilizing in the for review collections or introductions, all those things, and primary sources and secondary sources, all those things will be constrained in the first step. Next one is determine the data collection method. So what method will be choose for the data collection, that is the questionnaire method or interview method or scheduled or observation, which one method will be choose for the determine data collection method. Then determine question response format. So we are determining the question response format, that is the quantitative or qualitative. We are giving the multiple choice answers or the yes or no type, or what kind of scale will be used in the questionnaire format. Then decide on the question wording. So the question we can use for symbol word in the questionnaire method, because in the absence of investigator, the respondents do responsibility for the answer. So without the investigator, the respondent understanding the questions words and they are able to answer for the questions. So decide on the question wording. Then establish questionnaire flow and layout. So the questionnaires taking the systematic, and we are fixing the categorizations or item of the data. So the next one is evaluate the questionnaires. The questionnaire will be checking again, and we are giving the checklist in the questionnaire format. So all the categorical questions are included in the questionnaires. Those things will be evaluated in the questionnaire method. Next one is obtain approval of all relevant parties. So we are taking or including the questions all the part, demographic data or income data or census data, all those things will be included in the questionnaire method, and also we are getting the permission or a permit to the respondents. Without the permission of the respondent we can't collecting the data. So obtain approval of all relevant parties. Then next one is pre-test and revise. The pre-test and revise is very important for the questionnaire process, because the pre-test only taking for the changes or modifications or omitting or ordered for the necessary changes in the questionnaire. So the pre-test only help for the revise for our questionnaire format. So the pre-test is conducting must for in the study area. Then next one is prepare final copy. So after pre-test only we are preparing the final questionnaire copy. Then that copy will be implement the survey. That copy along with that copy sent for the respondent, and the respondent will able to answer the questionnaires. So these are the questionnaire design process. Next one is types of questionnaires. The types of questionnaires mainly we have division in the three types. One is unstructured questionnaires, another one is structured questionnaires, and the third one is semi-structured questionnaires. Unstructured questionnaire, it is collecting for qualitative data. It is always goes on open-ended. We are asking the detailed questions to the respondents, then free to answers. Unstructured questions, it is free to answers mode. Then high validity, the data will be high validity. Then no manipulation quality. So no more low manipulations. The manipulation level is very low in the unstructured questions, because we are collecting the more data, because the questions itself we are asking the detail in explained manner. So low manipulation quality in the unstructured questions. Then opinion and review, qualitative data or interview, then free to give judgments. So these are the unstructured questions. These are the chance will be available in the unstructured questionnaire. The next one is structured questionnaire. It is collecting for quantitative data. So this data will be collected in the quantitative measurement, in collecting only in the numbers. Then close-ended. It is always asking for close-ended. Then low validity, the data will be in low validity, because we are measuring, we are collecting the quantitative data. So we don't ask any kind of details to the respondent. So the low validity available in the structured questionnaire. Then high manipulations. High manipulations, we are creating and we are giving the explanation more in the form of structured questionnaires, because we are giving the scale or rating scale, or we are giving the grade point in the questionnaire choice. So that's why we are high manipulation in the data. Then dichotomous, it is a two way of data will be included, dichotomous. Then multiple choice questions. The dichotomous, we are asking the questions in the 2-point scale, yes or no, or agree or not agree, desired or undesired. So dichotomous method for the structured questionnaire. Then multiple choice questions. We are asking for the multiple choice question to the respondents. We are giving the choices in the multiple way. For example, we are giving the choices and the answer level. Then questions, scale questions, Lingard scale. So we are asking the scale questions. We are giving the absence in the scale level, 2-point scale or 3-point scale or 4-point scale, like A disagree, B agree, C strongly agree, or D strongly agree. So these are the scale method will be used in the structured questionnaire. Then contingency questions. The next, moving on, semi-structured questionnaire. It is mixed one, because we are using the structured and unstructured questionnaire in the semi-structured method. Okay. Then how to get data through questionnaire. So we are framing the questionnaire, that questionnaire how to get the data through the respondents. So the questionnaire will be sent through the printed format like personally distribute or fax or posted. So then in the electronical way, email or Google documents or forms or link share. These are the way we are sending the questionnaire to the respondents or getting the data from the respondent. Then what are the advantages we have in the questionnaire method? It is one of the tool of data collection. Yes, the questionnaire method is actually one of the tool of data collections. It is a well planned one. We are well planning and we are framing the questionnaire in the systematic way. That either a structure format or unstructured format or a semi-structured format. It is anyway. It is a well planned questionnaire format. It can be emailed, posted, or faxed one. So the questionnaire method, we send the email or posted or faxed or any one of the method we followed and getting the data from the respondent. Then good coverage. Good coverage means we are covering all the aspects and asking the questions in the questionnaire. Then next one is easy to analyze. The questionnaire method is we are collecting the data and it is easy way for analyzing the data because we are calculating the responses and that responses only will be analyzed. Then easy to administer. It is a easy method for handling the research investigator because they only send to the questionnaire to the respondents and receiving the responses. Okay, then familiar way. It is a familiar way. It's one of the easy method for giving the responses because we are actually asking the questions yes or no type or some questions only asking in the brief manner. So it is a familiar way. Then offers time and space utility. So we are giving the time and it is a time consuming method and a phase utility also we are having more time for explanations and analyzing the data. So these are all the advantages of the questionnaire method. Then next moving on disadvantages of questionnaire. It is a hectic task. Yes, definitely it is a hectic task because we are sending the questionnaire to the respondents. We are expecting the responses from the respondent. Sometimes we don't get any respondent from the respondents. Then time delay. The correct time we did not receive any kind of questionnaire in the written format. That's when the time will be occur in the questionnaire method. Then next one is difficult to meet deadline. So definitely we are difficult to meet a deadline because in the right time we are not receiving all the responses from the respondents. Sometimes more questionnaires will not receive in the written way. So the difficult to meet deadline. Next one is unable to filled by the illiterate people. Yes, questionnaire methods is unable to filled by the illiterate people because without the absence of research investigator, we don't understand and the illiterate people don't write and written reading. So that's why that people are unable to filled by the questionnaire method, not a spontaneous method. Yes, because sometimes the respondent will not fill the questionnaire by own or they are giving to another person, so we don't know who are giving the responses to the questionnaire. Some questions are ignored. Yes, the respondent may be ignore one or two questions or half of the questions in the questionnaire. So the some questions are ignored by the respondents or maybe that respondents are understanding the questionnaire questions. Okay, the next one is insufficient replies or no reply. So the research investigator getting the insufficient replies because we are sending the 500 questionnaire to the respondents, but we are receiving only 250 questionnaires in the written way. So we are didn't get the insufficient didn't get the sufficient replies from the respondents or some persons are no reply. Then scope for misunderstanding. Without the research investigator, the respondents are misunderstanding for the questions because we are not available explaining the questions what exact in the asking in the question. So the scope for misunderstanding to the respondents. Then not suitable for issues. So the questionnaires sending by the post or email or Google Forms That's why that is not suitable for issues, because it is time delay method. They are not receiving questions and sending the responses in that time, and immediately they are not giving the responses to the questionnaire, so it is not suitable for issues analyzing. Next, moving on, difference between questionnaire and schedule method. So what is questionnaire? Questionnaire filled by the respondents. Yes, it is always filled by the respondents in presence of the investigator or absence of the investigator. We don't ask anything, and by the research investigator, simply we are giving the questions to the respondents. They are giving the responses. Then schedule filled by research worker, enumerator or investigator. Yes, the research investigator only asking the questions to the respondents. They are giving the responses only, and that response is filled by the investigator. Then cheap and economical. It is a questionnaire method is cheap and economical because we are framing the questionnaire and send to the respondents, no responses. Okay, then schedule is expensive, require training. It is more expensive because we are giving the training to the research investigator and framing the questions after they are sending the investigator to the field. After only we are collecting the data, so it is more expensive and require training. Then ROS non-response is very high. So sometimes we didn't receive any kind of responses from the respondent, so that will be occur in taking place in the questionnaire method. Schedule non-response is very low because we were research investigator directly go and asking the questions to the respondents. The respondents will respond to the questions. Sometimes one or two questions they will respond not idea or no idea or no more comments like that. So the non-response is very low in the scheduled method. Then identity of respondent is not clear. In this questionnaire method, we don't identifying the correct respondents, those who are giving the responses to the particular questionnaire, so that identity is not clear. But schedule method is identity of the respondents is known. So we are go and asking the questions directly. The research investigator and respondents are there, so the identity is clear. Those who are giving the respondents in the what response is given by the particular questions, that is very clear. The next one is personal contact is not established. In questionnaire method, personal contact is not established. Those who are not giving the identity and all those things will not given in the questionnaire method. But scheduled method, personal contact is established because we are going directly and meet the respondent and asking the questions and collecting the information. Though the personal contact is established in the beginning of the research investigator asking the report developing also there. So the personal contact is always established in the scheduled method. It cannot be used when respondents are illiterate. So the questionnaire method cannot be used when the respondents are illiterate because they are not reading and writing. That time that questionnaire method is not used to the collecting informations. Schedule, it can be used. So either the schedule method we can use for literate people or illiterate people, because the investigator or presence in front of the respondents, they are he or her are asking the questions to the respondents. So ultimately the respondents are able to answer the questions. So the illiterate people or literate people, they are using or giving the responses to the schedule. Then risk of incomplete and wrong information in the questionnaire. Yes, sometimes the questionnaire method filled by incomplete form and wrong informations providing by the respondents, because they are giving the answers as per the mental mind behave. Okay, so the risk of incomplete and wrong informations are available in the questionnaires method. So that kind of risk will be very low level in the schedule method, because the directly analyzing and asking the data and the data filled by the research investigator, they are very careful and all the informations are giving by the research investigator, so the risk is very low. All the informations will be filled by the research investigator to the scheduled method. So these are the differences between questionnaire and scheduled method. Thank you. That's all. If you have any queries, kindly asking by the comment.